Haha, hello, and good day, good dag to you and all those that watch on the channel. I am, as you know, your host for the day. I am Bragi Magnarsson, and although I am a Viking, today I'm dressed more in my Iron Age kit. For today we're going to talk about an Iron Age Torc and a hoard, the Sedgeford Torc. And you may be saying to yourself right now, well Bragi, can you explain to us what a Torc is? Well, I can show you one as I'm wearing one, but only a very basic Torc. Naturally, in the Iron Age, Torcs were often made of silver, but most probably gold. So, and I'm being a poor man, I can't afford a gold Torc, but this is kind of a modern representation of a Torc for a reenactor during the Iron Age. And of course, if you really like this hobby of Iron Age reenacting, then you'll naturally spend more money. Now, the Sedgeford Torc is a broken Iron Age Torc, and it was speculated that the Torc was damaged due to ploughing in the medieval times, and the Torc was found at Westhall Farm on the 6th of May in 1965, very close to the village of Sedgeford, hence where it gets its name from, the Sedgeford Torc. Now, it was found whilst a farmer was harrowing a field, but when the Torc was found, it was missing its terminal, and for many years that terminal remained missing. But in 2004, during the summer, Dr. Steve Hammond of the Sedgeford Historical and Archaeology Research Project, whilst during some field work, found the missing terminal of this Torc, and it was found surprisingly 400 metres away from the main body of the Torc. Now, you may be asking, well, when does this Torc age from? Well, it dates from around 200 to 50 BC. It's a very old item, and it is made from twisted gold wires. In fact, in total there are 48 2mm wires, which were formed to make another set of 24 wires. And then they got these 24 wires they have made from the 48, and then they made 3 of these and they paired them and twisted them together in opposite directions to make the rope, comprising of 6 wires. And after they have made these individual ropes, they had 8 thicker ropes, and then these were all twisted together to make the main body of the Torc. And in total there was 25 metres of wire was used to form this Torc. Not this one. So let's talk about, before we get onto the terminals of the Torc, let's talk about how they would have manufactured the wire. Well, first of all, you need the gold. You can trade it, or you can melt down an existing item you've got, and then you have to hammer it out into sheet, which will be thicker than 2mm. It'll be about a 3mm thick sheet, and then they'll try to cut them into little strips, which they would hammer out and draw and elongate until they got enough wires to make the Torc. Of course, during the Iron Age, there would have been enough trade to probably buy the wires already made. I would hope so. And then they formed the Torc. But you have to think about the craftsmanship during this period. I mean, we're talking 2,200 years ago. And if you imagine today trying to make this Torc, it would not be an easy job. You'd have to be a very highly skilled silver or goldsmith to make this. And naturally you're going to need some modern equipment. So to think and to pause and to think, let's think about how these ancestors of ours from the Iron Age manufactured this torc. It is truly, truly incredible. In fact, it's totally awesome. Now, let's talk about the terminals. And you may be saying to yourself as you watch this video, and hello, how are you today? I'm very well. What are the gold terminals? Well, let me take off this torc and I'll explain. The terminal is the end piece of the torc, and they're quite bendy. Mine's a cheap version, a kind of a reenactor's version, for I cannot afford a silver or gold one. Now, the hollow gold terminals, which are in a ring shape, were cast using lost wax casting, and they was decorated in Latin style with moulded raised decoration of trumpet voids and circles highlighted with pellets and cold hammering. And let's talk about the casting. How would they have cast these items? Well, first of all, you need the right sort of wax. You don't just go and grab some wax from the beehive. You've got to make a mixture. And then you'll sit and you'll very carefully carve what you want to be moulded. In this case, a terminal. Whether they was casting one piece or two piece is another question, and a very complicated one indeed, which I won't get into today, because there are many, many more torcs I'll be talking about in this series, talking about hoards. So you've manufactured a nice wax copy of your end piece, your terminal. You then get some nice clay, not just plain clay. You've got to get some clay and make a mixture, which I can't recall at the moment, because I've not done any lost wax casting for years. And then you basically surround your wax item with clay, and then you let it dry, and then you can melt out the wax and then cast the item. But the casting does not always come out correct, so you may have to do this a few times and remelt your gold and recast your item, in this case the terminal. Now, the torc is very similar to the great torc of Sedgeford, a hoard of which I will be making a video of in the future. And is also very similar to the Newark torc, and also the Ipswich torcs. Now, quite interesting with the Sedgeford torc, this torc was found 2 miles away from the Sedgeford hoard. That's very close. And in 1966, the year after it was found, it was declared treasure trove, and I believe it is currently displayed at the British Museum, possibly in room 50, though I cannot be sure on the room number. There is a reproduction of this torc in Norwich, a grand place to visit, at the Norwich Castle Museum, a place I have been to and enjoyed looking around. Boy, you need at least 2 days to go and look at all the finds and all the exhibitions in there. Now, the torc was said to be buried deliberately and is considered to be hoarded object and possibly broken from the ploughing. I mean, to think that over time, with the ploughing, the terminal got moved 400 metres, that's quite incredible. But also imagine that in other hoards where the hoard has been broken up by ploughing, they would have been spread about even further. So overall, this is a fantastic find and a fantastic torc. It is truly an awe-inspiring piece of work and totally makes you respect your ancestors. The Celts were extremely clever people, and the Iron Age is a very colourful and a very rich time period which we often think about and forget. Now, if you have liked this video, then please go and subscribe. I plan to cover all the hoards in the UK, in Britain, but incredibly that is over 2,000 hoards. And often when I'm researching a hoard, I'd have a look for a video and there's very few on the hoards. So I thought over time I'd address this. But as you can see and imagine, it is a big project. The research alone is like doing a degree in archaeology, of which I'm not doing. I'm just an amateur with a passion for history. And I hope you have a passion too. So for now, it is farewell. Goodbye, good day to you. And was hail to the host, and was hail to all those that watch.